Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Entrepreneur Rescue Mission. This is a podcast produced by The Time to Grow, which is the company that Nancy and I run together. And today we're going to be talking about two specific things: our three favorite AI tools and our three favorite organization tools. Now, why do these go hand in hand? Well, number one, if your business is not organized, it's going to fall apart. Also, yes, we are in the AI revolution, and there's a lot of people, there's two camps still. There's people that just love it, they're just all about it. They're diving down those rabbit holes and trying to, you know, scrape together and, learn as much as they can. But then there's people like, I don't know, it seems kind of fake and blah, 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 and they're not really on board. You're going to get left behind. And we're going to explain again, there are benefits of AI with our three favorites, but we want to start with organization first. And again, these are just our recommendations. We do want you to check each of these out to see, obviously, if it works for you. So I'm going to kick things off with one of my favorite organization tools, and it's my Google Calendar. I know this may sound very elementary, but if we were to rewind the clock about 7 years ago, I was still using a paper planner.
I remember that.
And Nancy's like, why do you? And I used to carry it around wherever I went. Like literally, we would drive somewhere. I'd have my paper planner on, the side of my door. And it's not that I resisted the electronic side of things, but I'm like, I just like writing things down where I can see them and this, that, or the other. And it's still okay to have a paper planner on the side. But why I love my Google Calendar so much is because I'm in full control of it. Meaning, my Google Calendar is connected to our appointment calendar, meaning where people can schedule calls with us. And we use Calendly and Acuity, and they're attached to our Google calendars. So I like to be full in control of the schedule that we have. So Nancy and I work basically from 11 to 4 when we do work. So we make sure that our calendar is blocked off. And we actually have a dual reminder on our Google calendars that are synced that says daily schedule. And basically our morning routine. It's from 6 to 11. That's we have a very, very strict morning schedule. And then obviously our day ends at around 4 o'clock. And then basically you can't book calls after that. And the fact is that if you really want to get yourself organized, having that 10,000 foot view of your schedule, your hours of operation, the days that you do want to work, the days that you don't want to work, when you do want to start work, when you do want to end work, even putting vacations in there, your LinkedIn time, like I have that on mine, like I have blocked out like across the board, whether it's like 11 to 11:30 or 8 to 8:30 in the morning, LinkedIn time. And it's a 20-minute time block of stuff that I have blocked out. So one of my favorite tools is Google Calendar. Now, before I go to the one that Nancy and I love together, I'm going to actually have her chime into one of her favorite uh organization tools that it's not that I don't like it, I just don't use it. Nancy's obsessed with it. She still talks about it all the time, and it's called Toby. So, Nancy, tell everyone about Toby.
Yeah, so I have been using Toby, which is a Google Chrome extension, right? So you can actually check them out at gettoby.com. It's a very small team, right, who actually created it and is still involved. In fact, I got some swag from them the other day. I got a little tote bag and a pen because I gave them some feedback, but they're excellent. And I ended up hearing about Toby rewind, I mean, probably about 5 years ago. I was listening to a podcast, and one of the podcast hosts was sharing some tools that were just complete game changers for their lives and their business. And it came up and it just kind of stuck with me. And the way that they were describing it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need this in my life. So, what Toby is, so imagine, right, if you guys are listening and you work with many different clients, or let's say you have a lot of different processes in your business or maybe routines that you have to do. Well, what it does is it basically takes like, your bookmarks, right? Whenever you save pages, let's say you're reading something and you're like, oh, there's a great content topic. I want to save this for later. Well, it takes those messy bookmarks and those messy, right, ways that we save our pages currently, yes, we can make different folders and things like that, but it's very tedious. It takes a lot of time. Well, gettoby, right.com, you just go visit, um, allows you to put the Toby Google Chrome extension on your, little search bar. And every time that you go to a page, you can actually sort and organize these tabs in a really nice and easy way. So whether it be certain documents you're working on with clients, right? It could be Google Drive documents or anything with a URL, really. You can save it under that particular client. Of course, you don't keep, put their full name, but you could just put like Bob, under your client list, and you can save all of their stuff all in one place. So then let's say you jump on a call with Bob, you click the open button and it's all those tabs, right, that you would save for Bob. Maybe it's conversations you wanted to bring up or, reports that you wanted to be able to quickly access and so much more. So it's just a really, really cool way to organize all of that. I've created actually routines. Like, for example, maybe you only have 15 minutes to work on something. You can sort all kinds of different tasks and the URLs that you would go to all within, that little folder, within Toby. And then just one more thing about Toby, and then I know we're going to cruise along, is you have the ability, let's say it's the end of the day. In fact, this is very common for me where we've got to stop, feed the dogs, make dinner, right? We've got to kind of step away from our computer and we've got 50 tabs open and we're thinking in our head, oh my goodness, I don't want to lose any of this. Well, you can actually save your session and it'll save it as the date and time when you were working on it into whatever collection or folder that you want. And you can go back to your computer and click it and it will open all those windows back up and you're ready to jump back in. So talk about a productivity saver and an organization tool. It's one of my favorites.
And the final one before we get to our favorite AI tools is a project management tool for organization called Trello. Now, there's others out there like Asana
Click
and
up,
ClickUp, but
teamwork.
I'm gonna
Okay.
give a really quick shout out to why I love Trello. So Trello I love because with the free account you can actually create 10 workspaces. So a workspace basically is where, one workspace could be your CRM strategy. Another workspace could be your LinkedIn routine. Another workspace could be people that you've had calls with and kind of where they are, like, people you have to get back in touch with. Like, I mean, you could have it for whatever you want. And it's called Kanban style, which basically is like left to right. You can slide everything across, and it just gives you this really beautiful view of the tasks. Maybe it's a content posting routine that you have for social media. You could have like a column or a list for like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And Monday you do an image text post. Tuesday you do a short form video. Wednesday, market research poll. Friday, video training. Friday, newsletter edition, whatever the case may be. Underneath those lists, you can put obviously you can drop the content in there. You can actually hyperlink back to maybe a URL or a content idea from where you got it from. Maybe you saw a YouTube video that inspired you. Maybe there was an Apple that you found inspirational where you can go back and you can listen to it right from there. So for me, I just like using something that's very easy to use where you can archive those lists. You can have different workspaces. You can actually, if you have a VA or a team member, you can actually give them access to a board that you've created where if they're kind of doing some of the behind the scenes stuff for you, where you want to keep them in the know of what's going on with your business, what you're working on, the tasks that need to be done each day. Obviously, those are some of the great benefits of a project management tool like Trello.
Absolutely. And it's one of the tools, talk about learning curve. If you guys are listening and are a little scared of learning another new tech tool, if you're not currently using a project management tool, Trello is probably one of the easiest to start using.
Now, let's move on to AI. And again, there's a ton of tools out there, but there are three that we love most. Now, um, two I don't use as regularly as Nancy. So I'm going to let her talk about those two first. And then there's one that her and I use every day, which we will talk about last. So, Nance, why don't you talk about the first two that you love so much?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of share them all, right? And then obviously, Scott, I'll let you kind of dig in a little bit deeper. But, I like to kind of start sequentially, right? I think a lot of people get really overwhelmed now, right? That so many AI tools are coming out. I know I was one of them. But a lot of people will say, oh my goodness, I don't know where to start. And so the biggest recommendation, and I know this is probably the tool that you'll talk the most about, is using ChatGPT, right? There's been so many upgraded versions, and I'll kind of let Scott talk a little bit more about that. But ChatGPT, if I had to pick one, hands down, right? If this was the only tool that I could have and I had to give up the others, it would always be ChatGPT. So, Scott, if you want to share a couple of the, favorite things that you love about chat, I can jump into the others when you're finished.
Yeah, so I use the paid version of Chat, so it's ChatGPT 4.0. It's about $20 a month. So worth it because obviously it's continually updated. The free version, which is 3.5, is updated up until about 2022. So there's a lot of new information, obviously, in the last 2+ years. And what I do love most about 4.0 is you can really kind of teach it and train it all about you. It does connect to the internet. And the more information that you feed it, the more it gets to know you. And you can input more data, you can drop files, you can actually create your own GPTs within the paid version. But for me, I like to use it for content repurposing ideas. So if I kind of have a stumbling block where I'm not really sure what I want to talk about, I can, go into my chat and I can say, um, you know, I just want you to, recognize that I want you to help me create content for myself, Scott Aaron, a LinkedIn expert. And they'll say, great, what do you want to talk about? And I say, I'm kind of stuck on some content I want to create. Can you give me some topics that you feel would resonate with my audience on LinkedIn based on what you know about me as a LinkedIn expert? And they'll say, sure, here are some topics of what you could talk about. So I use it for prompts because for me, sometimes I need a little bit of an anchor to kind of plug into, and then I kind of just run from there. If I'm not really sure what kind of market research question is best to ask my network on LinkedIn, I'll ask LinkedIn. I'll say, I have a network on LinkedIn that's full of coaches, consultants, and service providers. What are 10 great yes or no questions I can ask them that would prompt engagement if I posted that poll? And it would give me that. So again, just go play around with it and have fun. But ChatGPT, I can tell you, if you don't want to move past that to any other of the AI tools, specifically the two that Nancy are about to mention, you'll be fine. You will be if the buck stops at ChatGPT, you're good. I mean, that's the only one that I use. I love it. I have all these different ChatGPT prompts that I actually teach my LinkedIn clients, and it just streamlines processes so much. And I had a client actually share with me yesterday from my group program. Basically, she said, she goes, going through your ChatGPT prompts for my content has streamlined this so much. She goes, I don't know how people do it now. Like, she goes, if I had to think about all of the content that I need to produce and write and prompts, she goes, I would never post. She goes, this is making me more accountable and it's actually making the content creation process fun. So that is why I love ChatGPT so much. And Nance, I know there's two others that you want to share quickly before we're done today. So why don't you dive into those?
Yeah, and what I'll just say about ChatGPT, it's kind of like, people compare it to the intern. It's getting better, guys. It's like more, instead of just being an intern that does a lot of different things, it's kind of bumping up in levels and skills. So the new version is super excited. We're also continue to see, we're excited to see, right, how it continues to unfold. But anyway, so Claude is going to be the next tool, right? So if you go to Claude.ai, so when we talk about ChatGPT kind of being the assistant, kind of like the intern, Claude would be your copywriter. So the biggest difference between ChatGPT and Claude, ChatGPT, especially the paid version, I mean, I've had it for so long, I don't know what the difference is now with the paid and the free. But ChatGPT connects to the internet, right? So you can actually ask it things and it will pull from outside sources. Claude only knows how to be a really good copywriter, right? It's only been trained on so much. And honestly, right, the data, that's in there, it's going to be pretty outdated, right? So I always say don't trust any statistics or, certain information that it spits out. But what I will promise you is Claude is absolutely wonderful whenever it comes to copywriting. With the paid version of Claude, you can actually create what we call projects. Yeah, you don't have to do that. What actually calls product projects, which you can train it and teach it. and add different documents to get to know you, to write differently for different things. For example, if you're an agency and you want to create, different projects for different clients based on their writing styles, you can create a different little profile, project for each. Anyway, it's phenomenal. I absolutely love it. So Claude is my second. The third tool that I absolutely love, right? So we've got our intern, jack of all trades, we've got our copywriter. Well, our market researcher, or just our researcher in general, is Perplexity. So Perplexity.ai is one that I haven't actually paid for, but I want you guys to do a little research. If you don't have the paid version of any, I do believe that if you sign up for the paid version of Perplexity, you also get a form of Claude and ChatGPT as well. So it might be a cost saver for many of you. I just use the other two so frequently that, it's just a no-brainer for me. But Perplexity is absolutely wonderful. So if you guys are pulling together maybe industry updates, you're putting together, maybe new and different sourced material, you can use Perplexity to pull up all that information. It's like Google and ChatGPT had a baby. It'll pull all that information together, summarize it, and source it, meaning it'll actually show you, right, where it found the information so you can actually reference that article yourself. So it's a great tool. You can even switch it and toggle it to specifically search online, but also to search white papers, right, academic papers. You can search on like Reddit and social media. So it's a really, really cool tool. So those are the big three for AI. Again, that's ChatGPT, Claude.ai, and Perplexity.
So for anyone that wants to learn more about these, we're going to hyperlink Trello, Toby, Perplexity, Claude, and ChatGPT. Obviously, Google Calendar, you know where that is. But also don't forget to head over to thetimetogrowcom to get on the wait list for our emerging community called the
Woohoo!
Expert Content Society. It's a community built all around LinkedIn content. There's going to be playbooks, there's going to be challenges, there's going to be workshops, there's going to be AI prompts. There's going to be so much value in this, and we cannot
Simple
wait for
and
you.
fun.
Simple and fun. We cannot wait to have you guys a part of this. So again, check the description of this episode, get on our wait list, thetimetogrowcom, check out all these different tools that we mentioned and see what's best for you. So everyone, please enjoy the rest of your days. Love and gratitude, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye bye.